All right, guys, we are looking at how to create note cards in NoodleTools. So I have a project open. It's just a little Melville Dewey, the guy that created the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, some geeky library stuff. But here's some sources, and there are two ways that you can create note cards. First is within your sources tab here. I have 5 sources created. You can go ahead and you see there's a note cards right here, and you can click new, and it'll open up the new note card box. It'll already link your source right there. You can have your direct quotation, paraphrase or summary, and your My Ideas box. So you can work with right in here, and you can give it our titles. Okay, so that's the first way that you can create a note card directly from the source. The second way is from the Notecards tab. And you see I have been working on some note cards here at the tabletop. And the other way is to just do here, plus new. But from here, you have to select the source that you're going to be taking notes on. So maybe we're working with, you see I have my sources already opened here. So here's one about Melville Dewey from Library of Congress. That's this source right here. We'll click on that, and then you can begin filling out the rest of the information. Titling it at the end, making sure to keep it short and concise, and also that it relates to the information you're taking notes on. So maybe this was about Dewey early life. And then we'll go ahead and save and close that. And then it puts the card right up in there. Okay, that was just a quick look at creating note cards. All right, the next step with note cards is to complete the note card. You have 3 boxes: direct quotation, paraphrase or summary, and original thinking. So we're in the note cards tab. We have a new source. It is from the Gale, which is this reference here. So we're going to be looking at some notes, and the first thing we start with is the direct quotation. So this is where you can copy and paste from a source, or complete it. If you're working from a book, you put the author's words in here directly. So this is the actual quote that you are using. So it should be about 1 to 3 sentences long. You really shouldn't have a full paragraph for a direct quotation. Sometimes you may need to have upwards to 20, 25 note cards. So having a paragraph, 6 to 10 sentences, you can divide that up into multiple note cards. So stick between 1 and 3 sentences. So let's go into this one. We're going to talk about his early life. Let's talk about, I found this quote here, his father, and talking about his father and his mother, and then how he demonstrated strong mathematical ability and a fascination with systems and classification. So we'll go ahead and copy this, paste it right into here. Control V. What we want to do is actually put it into quotes and include an in-text reference. And it should actually tell us how to do it right here with this in-text reference. Click on that, and it brings it up. There's no page number, so we'll leave that blank. So it will be Melville Dewey, and that should be it. We're going to do it as the name of the article. So Melville Dewey. It's an article title, so we actually need to have that also in quotes. Open parentheses, close it up, and the period goes on the outside. So there is our main quote, 2 sentences long. Next, we are going to be paraphrasing it. So this is where we put it into our own words. You can look back at the quote and making it so that we can understand it, putting it into our own words. So let's look at this one here. Father was a bootmaker, keeper, general store, sternly religious mother, principles of hard work. So let's say Dewey's mother instilled in him the principles of hard work. Principles of hard work and righteousness. Then we also had strong abilities in math and systems of classification. Okay, that looks good. And then for the original thinking, you can use this in a variety of different ways. You can go ahead and say how you're going to use it. What I like to, my example is for students is, how are you going to use this quote, this paraphrase in your paper? Where can you use it? You know, this quote can be used for a paragraph on Dewey's early life and parents, you know, in my essay or something. Or if you're doing a slides presentation, say what slide. I'm going to use this in, you know, background information slide. Something like that. Giving yourself a little note on how you're going to use it. After you have all the boxes completed, you should go ahead and title it. So we will call this Dewey Early Life. And then make sure you save and close that. And there it is there. We have an additional note card to our pile here. Once you have all of your note cards kind of completed, all the boxes filled in, we can start working on organizing them and then adding them to the outline feature, which is over on this side. You can kind of spread things out and you see you have topics, subtopics. So the outline feature is very useful for organizing your notes and the notes you've been taking and preparing for writing a paper, how many paragraphs you're going to conclude, and even for outlining maybe a multimedia presentation with Google Slides or PowerPoint. So here I have organized. I like to kind of line them up by color. So here's some early childhood stuff. Library school, the Dewey Decimal System, his kind of like tarnished legacy or his allegations against him here, and then kind of controversies, and then a conclusion with the Dewey's legacy. You can add different colors to note cards by clicking on them. And then dropping down this tags, and you have colors you can change them to, cues to help you think about what you're going to, where you're going to use them, additional tags that you can name, but we'll just leave them color coordinated. As for using the outline, you begin here with a topic. Maybe this is our introduction and biographical information. We can always add additional topics here. Maybe we need like about 4 or 5 paragraphs. So an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. This one can be early childhood and family. Double click on that, and we can call this one library and Dewey decimal system. And this one can be Dewey controversy. Okay. So there's like kind of how we're going with it. We can delete that subtitle. I just hit the delete button on there. So we just want the main paragraphs here. You can add additional subtopics if you want to get more specific about what you're including in the paper. But for this video, we'll just stick with the topics. So here we have biographical information. So what you can do is you can take your note cards and drag them over and put them in there. And there's our little note on his early life, changing his name as a youth, and then additional information on his childhood. So that's the information we're going to use for that paragraph. Then we're going to be talking about library. Well, they should be here. We'll have his early life right there, childhood. We need some background information in there. We'll move on to his early childhood there. Then we'll talk about library and the Dewey Decimal System. We'll grab our orange cards, drop them in under here, and publishing the book that would become the Dewey Decimal System. And the controversy, he was sued by his assistant. There was allegation about his treatment of women and even his discrimination against Jews later in his life. So that's why his legacy is complicated. So that's what we're going to write about in our conclusion with this note here. So that's how you kind of do it. You get the little check marks. You kind of organize it here. You drag them over to your outline, and you kind of begin the process of how you're going to write the paper. All right, guys, last bit of just overview of note cards and outline is how to export and share both note cards and the outline with your teacher. Now, if your teacher had set up a project inbox from the dashboard, you already have everything shared with them. They have your entire project, all the sources you've been working on, and that is with this share with a project inbox right here. But if your teacher didn't set that up, you can get back to the note cards and you can look at the print and export function. Similar to what we do with our sources when we're ready to create that, you can do print and you can do it to a Google Doc. You do outline with note cards. So let's go ahead and we'll go to export to Google Docs. We can do export all note cards. And what I recommend is unchecking all boxes except for source, quotation, paraphrase, and my ideas box. And this will create a Google Doc with all of your note cards that you can share with your teacher via Google. So NoodleTools is going ahead and creating a note card document for my Melville Dewey note cards. Okay, there they are, the note cards. It has my source, my titles, quote, paraphrase, and my ideas. So that is the Google Doc, which you can edit and move around however you feel like. And then you can go ahead and also share here. And you can type in your teacher's name and just share the document with them that way. Or download, upload it to Schoology. However your teacher is requiring you to get the document to them, go ahead and do it that way. Click off of that. The other way you could do it is you could do both. You could do just the outline only, outline with note cards, outline only, export to Google Docs. Same thing. NoodleTools will redirect into a Google Doc, and you'll have your outline ready to go. So that's just the basic outline. And the other way to do it is to include outline with note cards. Export to Google Doc. I recommend doing the same thing. Unchecking all boxes except for source, quotation, paraphrase, and my ideas box. Clicking submit. And we'll get the full document with outline and note cards together. There we go. It has our introduction, my ideas, early childhood, with the source there. And this can kind of give you a rough sketch of how a paper or essay is going to look with the quotes and everything that you have in there. And again, this can all be shared with your teachers via Schoology, with Google, however your teacher is requiring you to turn in your NoodleTools note cards and outlines. So that does it. That kind of wraps everything up for the note cards in NoodleTools, note cards and outline.